Hello, and welcome to my first video where I dive into these topics that I've been talking about for quite some time now. The first topic that I want to get into is the general basic ideas of self-knowledge and self-understanding and transformation and integration and what it means to be a person and to know who you are. And this is something that I have been aware of since I was able to think about anything. I have constantly been trying to figure out who I am and how I fit into this world that I'm living in. So, to start off, why is it important to know who you are? Why is it important that you know not just what you think and feel sometimes, but that you know who you are? Why is that important? Well, it's important because you are the one living your life. You are the one waking up in the morning, acting, thinking, feeling your way through this world. And if you don't know who is leading, then you're most likely going to be led by external sources. If you don't know where you come from, then all of these external things are going to press in on you, and you are going to suppress your soul and live out of this tiny little portion of being. So it's pretty common knowledge that we only operate out of a certain percentage of our mind. So the self is often viewed as a circle. In fact, it's always viewed as some kind of circle. And that's going to bother me if it's not actually in the middle. Close enough. So this is you. This is me. This circle is the infinite possibility of what you are, which is insane to even say because I can't explain it. But let's just say this circle is the complete potential of who you could be in this life. And the dot in the middle is the I, yourself. Now, the thing that is behind yourself, your true self, not your ego persona self, but the thing that is behind your true self is the same thing that God is made of. The Unus Mundus, as they say, the thing that is indescribable, the thing that lies beyond all things, is behind yourself. It's like, I can't really explain it, but this is you. And this is your ego, or your conscious mind. So this is what you're aware of. And you don't just come into this world as this. You come into this world as the full circle. And as you grow and learn and shape to adapt to your environments, this kind of gets formed. And I guess there's so many ways to look at this that it's not, you can't just break it down into one thing, because you could come at it from a million different angles and it would be the same thing but explained in a different way. So if this here is your your ego is what your mind knows about yourself. And your personal unconscious is your shadow self, your personal shadow. So the things that you suppressed when you were a child, the things that made you change to be what your family or your friends or your partner wanted you to be. Your personal unconscious holds all of the delicate weavings that create who you are out of your ego. And this is not you. Your ego and your shadow are not you. They are the trap that you're caught in, the cycle that you keep falling into again and again and again. The thing that is causing you pain and hell is this. But you know that you're more than that. You know that there is a you that is behind those things. You know it. You know it. You remember it. And that is this part of you. And don't take like every single tiny little thing that I'm saying as like the exact representation of it, because it's so fucking complex. But the real you lies deep, 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 deep within you, right? You can't even see it. And when we're children, that part of us is way more awake and way more alive and active and expressive in the world. And when we grow up, this gets formed, and this is the persona that we show to the world. And this part of us, the whole expressive, joyful part of us, seems like it's in a world that's unreachable when we get older. So let's give this a new image. So I'm going to draw the same circle, but this time let's look at it as like a pie shape. So here's the center. Okay, this is also you. Let's say that you have, let's use blue as, actually let's use red as the ego. So let's just say these 8 pieces are different pieces of yourself. Let's just say you have one piece that's very sensitive, very emotional. You have one piece that's very driven and ambitious. You have one piece that's, I don't know, like likes adventure and fun and play. And you have one piece that's like really mysterious and reserved and like deep. You might have one piece that's really like external and active and social. So you have all these different parts of you. And let's just say that let's say 2 of these pieces are the ego / persona. So let's say that this wheel here is spinning, and as it's spinning, that is the unfolding of your life. And as it spins, these 2 squares are the only part of you that go out into the world. So these parts are just hidden. They don't come out of you. You don't know them. You don't understand them. You might feel that they're there, and you might desire to uncover them. But for the most part, you're just living in these parts, back and forth, over and over. That is your life. But, okay. So these are all the different parts of you, and they are different colors because they are different energies. Okay, this is going to get really messy, but I'm just going to do it for the sake of the example. So let's say that the red is the ego, the part that you portray into the world, and then the other parts of you are potential parts of your soul that you have yet to uncover. So they are hidden by all this black. They have like holes and you don't understand them. It's really confusing. It's like, what is this? It doesn't make sense. So these black parts are your shadow because you can't see them. They're dark. They are in the dark. They are unknown. It's like if you are aware of everything that's up here in your mind and you look down at your soul, it is black down there. You don't know anything about it. And that is what this is. This is black, the unknown. And this is the known. And you only know what you know. And the goal is to know more about yourself. The goal is to make this known. So you have to go down into that dark spot and you have to watch it, look at it, contemplate it, think about it. This has to break apart in order for, like, basically, if your whole self is this massive wheel, you're only living this. Ego. But you have the potential to grow this ego out, 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 bigger, bigger, bigger. And when you do that, you get all these other colors of yourself and you expand. Okay, are you with me? So, okay, this is a gem. This is you. And this gem is perfect. It is the perfect representation of what it is. And this gem is hidden inside this rock or this cave or whatever you want to call it. This gem is hidden inside of this thick, black, seemingly unpenetrable blob. And you are out here. Let's just say, I don't know, you're holding it in your hand. And I guess the more accurate representation would be that you're holding it on your back. And you're carrying this around with you. And it's fucking heavy. It's heavy, but you know that there's a reason that you're carrying it. But it's so big and it's so heavy because you haven't chipped away at all of the things that are in the way of this gem. And let's just say that once you get to this gem, the gem goes deep into your heart. Everything is free, everything is light, everything is love, everything is good. You have this image in your mind of like the perfect life, the perfect version of you. Like you have this feeling and this knowing of what it means to be connected to the truth and to, it's like you remember something. At least I do. I've always remembered that there was this, or that there could be. It's like there was and there could be and there will be this peaceful, perfect, blissful place that is full of all good and light and love. And when you achieve this, you achieve that state of absolute bliss. So this is you, and as you go into your unconscious, you take a chunk out of that, and then you keep going, and you keep going, and you keep going, until eventually you chip away, and you chip away, until you get back to your core. So now that I've kind of given you an idea of what you are, or what you could be, or what is hidden inside of you, how the hell do you get there? How do you get there? What do you do? How do you transform from what you are now into what you are? What does it mean to know something? What does knowledge mean? Knowledge is awareness. Knowledge is an understanding of what is true. Knowledge is something that you gain when you experience something. You go into an experience thinking a certain thing, and then as you experience it, because experience is the unknown. Experience is the unconscious part of you. So when you dive into something that you don't know, from that experience you gain knowledge, because you have an understanding now of something that you couldn't see before. So when you seek to know yourself, you seek to experience yourself and to recognize. Knowledge is recognition, to know again. To know yourself, you have to be aware of yourself. You have to experience yourself. You have to stand under yourself and go into these dark places that are not comfortable at all, and you have to observe them and integrate them and take everything that is just out in front of you, raw, real experience, and you put it back where it belongs and you sort through it. And one way, a beautiful way that you can look at this process of transformation is through alchemy. And alchemy is many things, but in essence, it is the process of turning something from lead into gold. Now there's physical, like chemical processes to turn different metals up the scale into gold, but that's only a part of it. The other part, the main part of alchemy, is the process of turning your blackness into gold and transforming your lead, your internal lead, into gold so that you can be that gem. You can be the light that is desperate to shine from inside of you. So there's many different ways to look at alchemy and to break alchemy down. Some resources do it in 3 parts, some in 4 parts, some in 7 parts, some in 14 or something like that. There's no perfect right breakdown of how this stuff works because, like I said in the beginning, this is the all of everything. This is the zero. This is infinite potential. It never stops. It just is. And you can break this one thing into 2 things. This is duality. So you took the one thing and you broke it down into 2 things. And then you could break this one part down into 3 parts. And this could be many things. Okay? It's not like you can only break the one thing down into 3 things, and those 3 things can only ever be this. So what I mean by this is it could be broken down in that way, it could be broken down in this way, it could be broken down in this way. Like, basically what I'm trying to get at is that this is like infinite knowledge that we're talking about. It's not, you can't split it up into perfect portions. You can split it up in an infinite number of ways, and each number of ways has an infinite amount of ways that you can organize it. Anyways, for this example, I'm going to break this down into 3 steps because there are many other processes besides alchemy that I want to include in this. One of them is the hero's journey. And the hero's journey, in short, is, here we go again, a circle. So hero's journey is, boom, you are here. This is you. You've been walking along this path for a long time and it's not fulfilling. Life kind of sucks. So in order to change what you know, you have to walk out into an unknown world. And this is the journey. So when you leave what you know and you go into something that you don't know, you find many things. You find people, you find trouble, you find enemies, and you have to contend with those things and learn how to shift with those things. So those are all new experiences that impress upon you and challenge what you knew when you were here. So in the hero's journey, you have, I'm going to break all this down afterwards, but for now, this is the first stage, the stage of going out into something new. Stage 2 is where you experience like the transformation. That is where you meet death and love and you become something different. So let's say that your gem is here. I'm going to use the Holy Grail for this little example. So let's say you're going out to find the Holy Grail, you find it, and guess what? It doesn't end here. This is the revelation, they say. This is the big, like, whoa moment. And then you have to come back. So if this is number 2, and this is, gosh, this is my left hand, so forgive me. This is number 3. So this is the return. This is where you take this and you bring it back home. So if home is the place where you rest your life, in your life you go on many journeys and you go out and you find something and then you bring it back to the life that you're living. And this is a huge, 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 huge portion of it, because you can stay stuck in these parts forever. But if you find this, the final goal of your journey is to bring that gift back into yourself. So let me just reorganize this. What is the process? No matter what you call this process, the process of transformation is the same. No matter where in the world you go, no matter what you believe, whether you deny it or accept this process or not, it is the same process for every human being, for every soul, because it is the order of the universe. So you can't deny it. So how do you do this? It is not simple. It is not simple. Not even a little. And I'm looking at myself in the mirror right now because I know this to be true. Anyways, how do you do this? Let me break it down into 3 steps and then I'm going to try and end this, okay? Hopefully this doesn't take too long. I know that I've been rambling, but I am passionate about this and this is my first one, so I'm just letting myself speak as I will. So I'm going to try and weave a few different ideas into this 3-step process. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, stage 1 in the hero's journey is called the departure. So this is where you leave what was previously known and you leave what you know and you go into what you don't know. Simple enough. I'm going to tie in psychology and astrology in one level, and then I'll do alchemy in the 3rd level. So if on a psychological and astrological level, step 1 would be the ego / your rising sign. So I'm not going to do a whole astrology lesson right now because that would take a million years. This is just the beginning, and the ideas and thoughts in my mind right now are infinitely insane. So basically, in astrology, you have, like, if you think back to the pie drawing that I did, that's kind of what astrology is, except it's divided into 12 instead of 8. So you have 12 pieces of this pie and each are a part of you. And then you have planets in each of those parts that represent different energies as well. So it's a lot, and I'm not going to get into it. But in astrology, there are 3 main parts that make up your psyche. There's your rising sign, your moon sign, and your sun sign. So your sun sign is the month that you were born. Your moon sign is where the moon, so your sun sign is where the sun was when you were born. Your moon sign is where the moon was when you were born. And your rising sign is the sign that was on the eastern horizon when you were born. So again, I'm not going into this. So if you don't understand it, go look into it. But if you do understand it, then hopefully you'll be able to see what it means as I'm tying it into this example. So departure is representative of your ego and your rising sign because it is what's comfortable. It's what you know. It's the pattern that you've been living. And in step 1, you are just admitting that you want to leave this part of you. Okay, and then in terms of alchemy, it is the Negredo stage. So this is the stage of blackness. This is hell. This is the shitty life that you've been living in, and you're like, it's time for something new. This is unlimited potential because you you are stepping into something that you have no idea what is coming next. You like, when you step into the unknown, when you look into the abyss, it is a fucking wild experience because it strips you of everything that you thought you knew. So this is very dark, and I'm already struggling to like keep this boxed in. Like, these aren't synonymous. Like, they're different ways of thinking about the same thing. So it's not like exactly the same. But I guess like this would be like unawareness. Unconscious. This is where your unconscious is acting on your behalf because you're not aware of what's happening. Let me just keep this over here just so that we know. Okay, so this is step 1, 2, and 3. I wrote down here that it's proving courage and will and desire for the higher good. So you're at stage 1, you're at point 0, and you have this desire and this will and this courage to move out of what you know and into something that you know is better, but you don't know how to get there and you don't know what it is, and you just have this feeling that where I am right now is not okay and I need to move out of this. So that's step 1. Step 2 is initiation. This is where you meet your host of people and experiences that change you. And in psychology and astrology, this is your soul. Can I spell? This is your soul and your moon. This is the feminine state. This is the emotional, adaptable, chaotic, like transformative, all hell breaks loose, the world collapses from beneath your feet. You experience immense emotion for a lover. You have passion. You have death of people that you love. You have things stripped away from you that you thought you would have forever. This is like really rough territory. And in alchemy, this is the Albedo. So this is blackening, sorry. And this is lightening. So in this stage, you're taking what was previously dark and you're bringing light to it. And if you just think in like a nice little way how nice it is, it's so nice to just enter into a dark room and flick on the light and instantly everything is lit up. But that's not how this works. This is like taking a flashlight and walking into a dark room and shining it on the tiniest little things and being like, oh my gosh, I've never seen that before. What is that? And then you have this whole experience with this unknown thing, and then you do it again and again and again, and it's never ending. It's never ending because that circle is eternal. It is never ending. You don't end. You will never understand all of you. And I say that, but if you can understand, I'm not even going to go there. I'm not going to go there. Anyways, in this stage, this is where you brighten up what was previously dark. And this is the stages that you go through to become all of who you are. But this is also the process of all the little journeys. Like, you have the big journey, and then you have 10 million little journeys that you go on that make up the big journey. So just for a little quick example here, let's say this is your big journey. And once you complete the big journey, which I hesitate to even say that, but anyways, let's say you start here and this is your capacity as a human being. Your goal through these journeys is like a spiral, which is why in some traditions or religions or cultures they use the spiral as a symbol of the self, because the spiral is just like a different dimensional representation of the circle. So you start here and you do the journey once, and you do the journey again, and you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again, and it's never ending. So this process, this 1, 2, 3 that I'm talking about, is each time you go around, you have the initiation, you have the death, you have the rebirth. So there's many ways to look at this, but I just wanted to point that out before we move on to the third one. So number 3 is the return. This is where you take the Holy Grail, you take the gift that you've been given, you take the knowledge that you've received, and you bring it home. The knight goes off into the dark forest, he beats the dragon, he captures the girl, he saves the girl, and he brings the girl whom he's in love with and she's in love with him, he brings her back to his castle and they live happily ever after. That is the story, okay? So 3 is the return. You take what you gained and you bring it back home. And this is the sun and the self. So in astrology, for example, you have your rising sign, which is your persona. It's like what people see when they meet you. It's how you naturally interact with the world. Your moon sign is more internal. It's more like your home life, like how you are when you're with yourself, like your emotions and your like flow in life is more your moon sign. But your sun sign is yourself. It is like it is the sun. Like when I think of my sun sign, which is Leo, I literally feel like this. I feel and I see the sun inside of my like body, and it's like it feels like this warm, bright light, like fucking desiring to get out of me. That is what my sun feels like. So myself, the center of the circle, the self, is the part of you that is like alive. It's like that is who you are, and when you can get to the center of who you are, then it's like a vibrant light that just shines out all the different colors of who you are. So that is what the third stage represents, and in the alchemical representation, it is the Rubedo, which is, I don't know if you can see this, but boop boop, the reddening. So I read this quote earlier this week, and in looking into this a little bit, and I want to read it to you because it's amazing. In the state of whiteness, one does not live in the true sense of the word. It is a sort of abstract, ideal state. In order to make it come alive, it must have blood. It must have what the alchemists called the rubedo, the redness of life. Only the experience of being can transform this ideal state into a fully human mode of existence. Blood alone can reanimate a glorious state of consciousness in which the last traces of blackness is dissolved, in which the devil no longer has an autonomous existence, but rejoins the profound unity of the psyche. Then the opus magnum is finished. The human soul is completely integrated. The opus magnum is the great work. The opus magnum is the hero's journey. The opus magnum is the ideal thing that you are to do as a human being, is to go through this journey and to find yourself. He says that in order to move from whiteness, which is like the enlightenment stage, it's like you were in the darkness and now you're in the light and you understand and you have this new self and you have this new knowledge, but it's very like internal. It's very intellectual. It's not even intellectual. It's like, it's real. Like, I feel like I've been deceiving myself because I've been kind of on this journey and I've been on this spiral and I've been kind of stuck and like, how come I know who I am, but I fail to like bring it out into the world. And it's because of this. It's because I need the blood. I need, like, I feel like I have the complete knowing of who I am inside of myself. But I'm struggling because I have yet to make this inner knowing of my spirit. My apologies. Camera stopped recording. Classic. Basically, I think what I was saying is that my knowing of self is very internal. It feels very white. It feels very bright. It feels like an insane, like, truth, like, vibrating inside of me, but I've yet to embody it. And I need to let that knowing and that knowledge and that truth of who I am sink into my physical body and allow it to be the thing that actually animates me out into the world, so that when people look at me, they don't see my rising sign. They don't see my ego. They don't see my former self. They see my true self. They see who I am. My light, my self is shining out from within me. It's not a mind thing. It's not, like, it's so different if you can feel it. It's not a mind thing. It's not like a safety, security thing. It's like, I am. And I just fucking am. Like, that is the end, where you just are. And nothing will ever change that. Once you're there, you can't go back. That's the ultimate journey. If you are on this journey, thank you. And I'm so fucking proud of you, because I know that this is hard. This is very hard, especially if you were doing it alone. And I've been doing it alone for a long, 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 long time. So I honor you so much, because this is insane work. And I really feel like people are waking up to who they are, and that this world and our point in time that we are at as a species is moving out of what we've been in, and it's moving into something new. And that new world is going to require us to be our true selves. And so if you are on the edge of this big rock cliff, say there's 8 billion people on this rock cliff, and we are living on this earth that we know and can comprehend and can maneuver, and things feel safe, but it's like not feeling so safe anymore. And there are many people who have already jumped off of that cliff into the river of life. And the river of life is where we're heading. It is a whole new way of being. And there are many people that are already living in that. And if you are either there or about to, get the fuck in, because this is the new world. This flow, this like true alignment with self and with God is where we're going. And I can't wait, and I'm very excited for everything that's going to happen in my own life and in the world at large, because if you feel this, then you feel what I feel. And what I feel is that so many things are going to be changing, and it's going to be shit, and then it's going to be really beautiful. And I love this aspect of life. I love the truth. I love myself. I love the thing that is connecting me from myself to God. Like, I just love, because at the bottom of everything, if you really dig out all those pieces of rock that are surrounding your gem, there is nothing but love at the bottom. There is nothing but love. And what if we got to a place in our world where there was nothing but love. What if we did that? So if you're doing that in yourself, and if you go through this to the point where you become it, that becoming is an insane, like, you are an energy, you are a vibration, and when you become who you are, you like send out this insane wave of yourself. And if we did that, if more and more of us did that, it would like shift. I just see like ripples of color and like frequency and energy just like shuffling through time and space and like wiping out whatever we've been living in. It's like just ripples shuffling through and like creating this new vibrant, like vibrant as in vibration and vibrant as in like bright color, as in like full expression of self, bright, like love shining through everything, kind of light and love. And maybe that's bold of me to say, I don't know, but that's what I feel when I think about this journey and when I think about how this isn't just an individual thing. It's not just about me, it's not just about you, it's about us. We are going through this. And yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here. So, one more time, thank you so much. And I love you. I love you.